All right, guys, welcome back to the Sleuth Intuition channel. I'm your host, Patrick Vallejos, and we are broadcasting to the world live from Phoenix, Arizona. This is our verdict watch of the Richard Allen trial. I'm expecting we should have a verdict today, but I could be wrong. Those are the vibes I'm picking up on. Richard Allen is accused of killing Abby and Libby in Delphi February 13th, 2017. This is definitely turning into one of those West Memphis 3 type cases and I mean, there needs to be a huge study into human behavior and how this happens. I mean, when it comes to reality, truth, facts, I truly feel like it's in the eye of the beholder. It's up for debate. Unless you can cut away all the bullshit and just look at things for what they are. That God given discernment. I think you just have people in the true crime community or just people in general who are prone to kind of rooting for the bad guy. So what we're going to do is we're just going to be playing the waiting game today. Feel free to join the chat. Shoot me an email if you see any updates. From what I understand, the jury showed up a little bit earlier than what they normally have been. So I don't know if that's a sign. I feel like they've had all of Sunday to kind of let it marinate. Welcome in Tina Starr, Roxy Wendling, Shane Considine. Shout out to Missouri. What's up, Wanda? No Effects. Julianne, Necessary Evil. Tracy Christensen. Miss Thang, what's up? So I can't remember who it was, but somebody asked me yesterday about Blackstone's ratio. That's, the saying it's better for 100 guilty men to go free than it is for one innocent person um, to be falsely imprisoned or falsely charged for a crime they didn't commit. I agree with that. But you can't, if you look into it too far or you make it into something that it isn't, sorry, then you're going to push it too far. You don't want to be radical about it. Because if you go too far, that means that you can't charge anybody with anything or convict anybody with anything. Because without a 4K video of the crime happening and clear audio and 100 witnesses, and you yourself, are one of those witnesses, you'll never ever. There will always be some amount of doubt. So you can't get carried away. And I think that's the problem with a lot of folks today. They get carried away with that. We can't let an innocent man go to. Well, you can't, but that doesn't mean that you ignore what's right in front of you. RA is BG. Today's the day. Welcome in, Doris. Good to see you. Frank Meister, good morning. What up? What up? Susan, good morning. Jill, good to see you. True Crime Housewife. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Says, I know that I couldn't give a guilty verdict with no info presented. I could if all I followed was what we have discovered over time, but not the state's evidence or lack of. All I have to say is the gaslighting is real, 100%. If you just keep at it and keep that repetitive nature and that forward momentum going and just keep shoving it down people's throats, people are, first it's like, oh, that's so stupid. Then it's like, well, maybe. And then it turns into, wow, there's a whole lot of people who agree with that. Maybe I'm the one that's crazy. Should call it the gaslighting train because it doesn't stop for anybody and it just keeps going and it just keeps hammering away, chipping away at your brain piece by piece until you're molded into the Richard Allen fan club. So, do I agree? Yes. It is better to let 100 guilty men go free than it is to imprison one innocent man. I agree with that. But if you become radical about things, you start overshooting your goal. Start looking too far down the rabbit hole. You can't even see the rabbit anymore. What's up, James Cope? Angela Van Oven says, let today be the day. No effects, still feel Richard Allen as BG, but I'm fearing that hung jury. I don't think so. I'm confident they'll find him guilty. And I hope that nobody had an opportunity to persuade them at all. I heard that attorneys were allowed to go back there and bring evidence, and Richard Allen was allowed to sit in the courtroom. I just hope there wasn't any kind of weird conversations taking place or anything like that. Good to see you, Dawn. 2 p.m. here. Great time for a live. I'm awake, fresh, and ready to rock. Yeah, I'm having my coffee now. I did have breakfast. TJ says getting a little nervous at this point. I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm 100% confident they're going to find Richard Allen guilty. I'm confident. Good to see you, Linda. Yes, today is Veterans Day, by the way. Shout out to all of you veterans out there. We love you. Tracy says, I feel for the jury. They have so much evidence to go through. Not really. They really don't have a whole lot to go through. I call it the trifecta. Everything else is like fodder. What's up, TJ? Thank you, Necessary Evil. Good to see you, Charlotte. NASCAR number 5. We need to do a study of the minds of these crazy folk accusing the family. I agree. I would love to do that. I would love to see the data. Morning, Maureen. Welcome. Melissa Wildcard. What's up? Carla says, watching live at the courthouse beyond the evidence. All right, let me pull that up. If you guys see anything, let me know. I was watching, looks like Truth and Transparency. Let's go to Beyond the Evidence. I don't know. I have a feeling that it's going to be pretty quick. Beyond the Evidence isn't live. What's going on with you, Charlotte? What's up, Diamonds? What's up, Sue Ann? Today is the day. Today is the day. Today is either the day of the worst case scenario or today is Becky Patty's day. She's the one that I think created that. Today is the day. Either way, I think it should be pretty quick here. What's going on, Ruckus? Ruckus rocks. Andy says hello. Totally agree. He is guilty. What's going on, Jessica? I wonder when the trial is over, they will unseal the evidence. They should. What's going on, Jerry? Lovely nurse. Thank you, Shane. Yay, yay. Yay, yay. What is wrong with all of these not guilty? He places himself there at the time. He's wearing the BG costume. He left a bullet that matches his gun. His car was seen on camera. That is not enough. It's not enough. I don't know. Everybody's getting all antsy. Good to see you, Tara. TJ says we were all so confident he'd have taken a plea deal. You know what? I honestly did. I underestimated how actually ruthless this guy is. This guy, he does not care at all. You know, he is really, really trying to get away with this shit. The only reason he confessed in jail was to try to get a boost of energy, get a little bit of that off his chest. But once he did, it just re-energized him. Gave him a little bit of breathing room. It's like an endorphin dump or dopamine or whatever the hell that is. You've been causing a ruckus. Who abducts someone, then brings them back in the pitch black, navigating rough terrain and trying to avoid law enforcement and searchers to kill them? No way. Well, this is the narrative that the family blamers, their whole theory is that the girls never even went to the trails, that they were dumped there, and then there was a narrative created around that. But that also includes faking the bridge guy video. What's up, GP? Yes, I did, lovely. Yeah, let's look at some of these images from the trial. Uh-oh, looks like something's going on here. Give me a minute. Oh, they might just be taking photos. Yeah, never mind. All the craziness. How's it going, GP? Yeah, I think so too, Susan. They're comparing the voice. And I think that if they're going to put this man in prison, and remember, they don't want to let a guilty man go free either. They have that. There's two things on their conscience. Okay, we don't want to put this innocent man in prison, and we don't want to let this guilty man go free because then he's going to do it again. This might be the man that killed Abby and Libby. So even if they're leaning towards guilty, they want to make sure either way, right? So I think right now they're just kind of cutting through all that smoke and those mirrors that the defense created. They're kind of knocking those down and clearing the air, seeing it for what it is. And they should. Yeah, once again, happy Veterans Day to all you veterans, all of you who have lost a family member who was a veteran. What's up, Yvonne? The defense didn't even present an alibi. Yeah, and it's not only what they did present or talk about, it's what they didn't talk about. And I think the biggest part of that is, what was Richard Allen doing? When he woke up that morning, where was he? Who was he with? Where did he go? Who did he talk to? kind of strange that you have a murder trial and nobody knows what the accused killer was doing. Nobody. Don't you find that weird? The prosecution can't make it up if they don't know. Only Richard Allen can tell us what he was doing that day. Why is he not telling us? And why is his defense team not telling us? Because it tells a story of the bridge guy. It's his origin story. The prosecution says that they found your bullet over here at the crime scene. Okay. Well, if that's not your bullet and you weren't part of this murder, where were you? If you're not killing Abby and Libby, what are you doing? I mean, just look at that through the jury's eyes. Okay, the defense not once told us the alibi of Richard Allen. The best they even came up with, or the closest they came to an alibi, was Betsy Blair's description of an older model car. Now we know that that was bullshit and that was a stretch. She didn't even see the back of the car. Says it could be black. What's going on, Lorraine? Good morning. GP with the flex. What's up? But thank you so much. Nervous, but feel that they should come to a verdict today. I'm thinking pretty soon, GP. Thanks for supporting my channel. $11.11. Sleuth faking BG video. They're clearly nut jobs. I mean, I don't think that it's out of the realm of possibility. And I'm open to that. Just show me how you got there. But when they show you how they got there and it's all this craziness, it's like that's how you convinced yourself. You have to be able to convince others. Says, do not watch TNT. She's the ringleader. I don't watch, but this person is, she's boots on the ground, apparently. I got an idea. Watch on my phone. Miss Ed, welcome in. The judge didn't let the defense present the evidence that they had. Botched investigation from day one. I wouldn't say botched. Like, I just don't understand what people are expecting. Like, what is it that you're expecting out of the investigation? Let's start there. Like, this isn't Columbo. In hindsight, it's 2020. Were there mistakes? Tons. Was there incompetence? Yeah, I saw a lot of that too. Is that what most investigations look like? I think so. The part that bothers me though is they've had all of these suspects over the years, and they were basically clearing them saying, well, we took their hair follicles, or we took a hair follicle sample, we took a blood test or blood sample, and we took DNA from blood, swabs, hair. What the fuck were you comparing it to? So when we hear people say, "Oh, well, they took a piece of my hair, I gave my blood, they did a swab on my cheek, so I'm cleared." Well, now we learn that there's absolutely no male profile left at the crime scene. So it doesn't matter who did this because they didn't leave any DNA anyway. So that doesn't exclude Richard Allen. It's not like, hey, we have this DNA that's all over the crime scene that must belong to the killer and it doesn't match Richard Allen. That's not what we have here. We have a crime scene that just lacks any DNA from the killer. So you have to ask yourself why. Well, when you go to Richard Allen's most detailed confession, he tells you why. He didn't touch the girls, but he had already made them undress and kidnap them from a bridge. So he's already in a shit ton of trouble. Hopefully, they'll release the original to the media so we can see it. Start analyzing that too. Maureen says circumstantial evidence is evidence. That's true. A lot of convictions come strictly based off circumstantial evidence. Yeah, and there's more than enough. Exactly, Tara. Yeah, Becky Patty's Day. Pretty sure she's the one that started that. All right. So now I'm watching Beyond the Evidence. I think that's Marv, but she is live. So I'm just going to kind of keep looking over here to make sure there's no activity. And we'll just kind of play the waiting game. That's a good question, Susan. Yay, yay. Libby showed us her killer. I feel like people are trying to take that away from her. I just don't get it. What's going on, Beth? Sparky. Happy Monday. Yep. Exactly, Tara. They're stuck between a rock and a hard place. We don't want to put a guilty man in prison, but if we let this madman loose and he does it again, which he will, If he's not guilty, he'll do it again for sure. That's interesting, Sue. If he had just told them, I saw BG, who knows what he was thinking about? But it is typical for killers to inject themselves into the case. And you can ask a lot of these investigators whenever people come forward. Like, let's say a name comes up in the investigation and they're looking for this person, right? Like, oh man, we got to find this person. We're kind of at a stalemate here. And then this person all of a sudden pops up right at the police station. Is like, hey, I heard you were looking for me. I got some information for you. The investigators are always thinking, well, is this my guy? Is he trying to kind of steer me in the wrong direction, or is he going to give me some legitimate information that's going to help my case? Because you never know. That's what a lot of killers do. They try to control the narrative while learning something, and they're trying to kill two birds with one stone. Trying to glean information about the investigation from the investigators, and they're also trying to kind of control it and steer it in a different direction. And a lot of the crime scene staging has to do with that too, misleading or misdirecting. Kind of goes with Richard Allen's MO. He's better at the cleaning up of the crime than he is at the actual crime itself. Very disorganized. Well, that would be a murder, Andy. The girls, eventually they were murdered. So if you're part of that kidnapping, that murder charge goes on you as well. Yeah, I believe they're one and the same. Martin Clark, welcome in. I find it a bit hypocritical of the defense that they wanted to present a confession of a man with mental age 7, Elvis Fields, but at the same time disregard 60 confessions by Richard Allen. Well, that's what this game is all about. What can I put forward that benefits my narrative, right? And that's what the struggle is. And that's why we have Judge Gall, you know. She's like, well, if we're going to show it, we got to show it all. You're not going to cherry pick. But that's what the prosecution and the defense are trying to do. They're trying to cherry pick without you knowing that they're cherry picking. Stop the railroading of Rick. So, I mean, that's my biggest question in this whole trial. And I guarantee the jury's asking themselves this as well. If Rick was not here killing Abby and Libby, where was he? What were you doing? Why were you at the trails that day? If you're confessing that you were supposed to go to lunch with your sister, instead you went and bundled up and then got some beer and committed this murder, is that what you were really doing? Isn't that the most that's the simple question that should be being asked right now by the jury. Is that true? Were you over there with your mother and you just and your sister and decided you were going to stand them up so that you can go get drunk on the bridge? And remember, that was part of my theory. We said this bridge and this trail is someplace this person likes to go and get fucked up. Maybe they like to cross that bridge and go underneath on the south end, smoke a little meth, drink some liquor, and just kind of hang out there. Nobody's really on that south end. 'Cause, All I know is that if that's what Richard Allen was doing, if he was out there in Peru and he was with his mother and his sister and they went to lunch and he blew them off, because this is the confession that he told Dr. Walla. If that is what he was doing that day, then you are looking at a man who successfully confessed. Now, if it was a false confession, we could prove that he was not with his mother, he wasn't in Peru, and he wasn't, you know, blowing them off so that he can go hiking on the trail. But if that is what he was doing, he's the killer. It's that simple. Thank you, TC. Thank you for continuing. There are always other suspects until police narrow it down to one by elimination. Yeah, and a lot of times that's why you're going to hear investigators say things like that. Like, hey, we think others could be involved. We're not sure. It's because they don't know the whole truth. What's up, Chopper? There you go. Sue says the Ricky fan club has watched too much crime TV. That's exactly what it is. And they got it out for the state. You know what I mean? That's something they all have in common. They don't trust law enforcement. And I don't think that you should trust law enforcement. I don't think you should go around trusting anybody for that matter. But to think that every investigator, every person that's involved in law enforcement is motivated to go out there and get you, or to say, well, Tony, was it Tony Leggett? Yeah, Tony Leggett is running for sheriff, so it's a close race. So we need to frame Richard Allen so that he can become sheriff. I mean, do you really think that that man woke up and sat down with a bunch of other group of men and came up with this plan? Or is it more likely that a troubled man, somebody with obvious mental health issues, personality disorders, dependency issues, childhood trauma, perhaps? Maybe it's more likely that this guy was triggered for whatever reason. Some, I call them stressors, and decided to go to that trail when he should have been in a hospital, maybe. It was just the worst timing. You have a man with all of the ingredients, that recipe for disaster. He's like a tornado just spinning. And those girls are just going about their day. And here this motherfucker comes like the Tasmanian devil. What's going on, Brett? I mean, that's what I've heard, Carla. Oorah. Shout out to your husband. Cindy Lean with the big flex. Good to see you, Cindy. Miss Thang. Yeah, I'm watching Marv right now for any movement. Wait, something's going on. Hold on. Yeah, it looks like there's some activity. They had some officers that are coming out lining up, but nothing yet, guys. Sorry to hear that, Sue. Shout out to your father. Sorry for your loss. Welcome in, Growing Crazy. Happy Monday. My opinion, the jury will rule guilty. I agree too. I'm confident in that. I have no nervousness. I don't have a whole lot either. There's a dash in there, but that's just from the gaslighting that goes on out there. I don't think anybody's immune to it entirely. The man abducted those sweet, beautiful children. Justice for Abby and Libby. Yeah, I mean, you have to think about it. He killed them because he didn't want to get in trouble. He didn't even care about them at all. And the way that he did it, it was just like, okay, I'm just going to end your life. Let me go ahead and he targeted the most vital vein in the body, right there in your neck, with precision, knowing that that's going to kill them, and he did. It's like, all right, that's that. Nobody's going to find out about me kidnapping these girls and forcing them to undress. And that's probably why Abby was redressed. He's trying to undo all of that. He forced them to undress. And if he's killing them so nobody finds out, that would make sense as to why one of the girls was redressed. It's as if he doesn't want anybody to find out that he's a kidnapper and a child predator. Thanks, Missy R. Hiking after slamming 3 beers. We used to go hiking and slam beers, but we used to slam beers and do everything. I just don't think we're hearing the truth. When he says a 6 pack, I'm thinking like meth or something. Hey, Miss Dog Lover, thank you for that flex. Me too. I'm confident. Melrose, thank you. Thank you, Sleuth, for always keeping it real. Happy Veterans Day to all who have served our country. Thank you. Shout out to all the veterans out there and all of you who have lost family members who were veterans. What's up, Natasha? Yeah, we've learned a lot about Richard Allen. He fits the profile. To a T. He said he used a box cutter. The wounds are consistent with the box cutter. That's what he said. And he says circumstantial is overwhelming versus smoke screens and speculation. Exactly. And that's all it is. That's what the jury's doing right now, in my opinion. They're letting the smoke clear and they're putting away the mirrors. They're going to see it for what it is. What's up, Sheba? Do you know if he can be charged if the timeline doesn't fit? He can be charged if 12 jurors agree that he's guilty. I keep hearing people talk about how the timeline doesn't fit. There's never been a more precise timeline ever in any history of a crime. This timeline doesn't fit. Nothing's ever fit so perfect. There's Brad Weber. He's obviously too tall to be the bridge guy. Maybe not, maybe. But there's his white van back there. Steph, Solar Chef Steph, I'm feeling very unsettled. I've tried to remain objective. I know my perspective is skewed due to personal life experiences as a teen, but I just have a nagging gut feeling. Can't put a finger on it. Well, today's the day, I'm pretty sure. And it can only be one of two things. Worst case scenario, and it'll throw this case into an endless spiral of chaos, like the West Memphis 3 case, like plenty other cases, right? Or he'll be convicted of murder. Eventually, he'll start talking and he'll do what psychopaths do. He's going to play a game of cat and mouse, and he's going to, turn on the slow faucet of information, and he's probably going to be relieved. Not only that, GP, it was more of a follow up. Like, hey, did my wife tell you what I told her? Like, did she tell you? This is like his way of kind of putting out his feelers. Like, okay, how's my, the two people that I care about the most, how are they going to treat me? Like, because I can't live without them. If I'm going to prison for the rest of my life, I need to be able to communicate with these two women. So he confesses to the most important woman, which is his life or his wife, right? We heard based off of doctors that his personality disorder kind of makes him a latch on to somebody, and that's Kathy. So she's the most important person. He's latched on to her. There's nobody else they latch on to, just this one person. So he tells her first, like, look, I did this. It's not the end of the world. They got me. I didn't get away with it. I tried, but I didn't. Are you still going to love me? Stop saying that. Stop talking like that. And then he talks to his mom. Like, hey, did Kathy tell you what I told her, that I did do it? So he's not just saying, Mom, I did it. He's saying, did you hear? Like, that I'm confessing? Did she tell you that I'm ready to confess? Did she tell you that I did it? So it's like a follow up. If he's out of his mind, why is he following up on his delusions? You know what I mean? Did you guys catch that delusion that I had last week when I was on the phone? You got that, right? What's up, Ariel? Honestly, I'm confused about the way he's charged. Shame on you, Indiana. This is bullshit. Like, what the fuck? It's like a game. It's a big game. It's like court camp. Thank you, Shane. Shout out to all my mods out there, keeping the chat chill. What's going on, Jerry? Good morning to you. Gun and two knives. I don't know if we have two knives. We could have one knife that was damaged. Could have, um, I think it might be more something like that. What's up, Dub Magic? Yeah, no verdict as of yet. I'm watching a few different live streams from Boots on the Ground, and they're just kind of lollygagging around. Shiba B, is this chat open for both sides to freely communicate? Yes, it is. All opinions are welcome. There's just a few rules. Don't mention the family, the victims' families. You have to have the ability to agree to disagree, and you can't be acting like a triggered troll, and you cannot become a distraction. But yeah, all sides are welcome here. Misun Misunderstood. You didn't nail his height, neither did law enforcement. Actually, they refused to try. I don't know if they refused. I just think it's strange to harp on everything that leans, towards Richard Allen. Like they didn't even bring in a professional to get his height. He's innocent. I'm telling you. It's like they deleted an interview from the milkman who was cleared. Who cleared him? What's going on, Debbie? It's crazy how some people have used their popularity to truly make some people believe there is a group of teleporting Odinists who are also Richard Allen doppelgangers that did this. It's extremely disturbing. It's interesting to say the least. It is, but this is what it's all about. You see these signs and getting together. It's court camp. You want to be the prom king or the prom queen over at court camp. I mean, I don't know what else to call it. Good question, Andy. Has Richard Allen said that he was coerced by Walla? No, not that I know of. Even then, she didn't know about the white van on the private road. There's no way. Yep. He gave the perfect description. He said, I was at my mother's in Peru with my sister. They went to lunch. I blew them off. I didn't go to lunch with them. Instead, I went and bought a 6-pack of beer, went home, bundled up, went to the trails, stalked the girls, went to the south side of the bridge, did something with my gun, kidnapped the girls, forced them, got startled by the van, forced them across the creek, and killed them so that I wouldn't get in trouble. So less than 10% of murder scenes actually have the suspect's DNA. Less than 10%. So don't let this defense team, like, they're salesmen is what they are. They'll sell ketchup popsicles to people wearing white gloves. Thank you, Sparky. I can't imagine what they went through recording the bridge guy and then for nothing. It won't be for nothing. It's the most important piece of information or evidence that they have. It ties everything together. It's the thread that's holding everything together. Sheba says, I don't know how there is no blood in his car. There was a lot of blood. I don't know. I think just like he says when he went home and bundled up, what did he do? Put on some jeans over some shorts, put a jacket on, and then put another jacket on over that jacket, knowing that it's going to get covered in blood. But after the murders, all you would have to do is take that jacket off, take the hoodie off, take the gloves off, take the jeans off, roll them into a bundle, throw them in a bag, and put them in the back of your vehicle. And you're out of there. I mean, he bundled up for a reason. I think that was the reason. So he could just shed it away. TJ said the defense didn't even attempt to explain how Richard Allen took 2 hours to hike the 20-minute trail. Not only that, nobody's seen him. He wasn't seen on the trail. Not one person saw that man. And everybody's just okay with it. Like, oh, we don't need an alibi. He doesn't have to explain himself. You have to prove that he's guilty. Well, guess what? I'm going to prove he's guilty by the fact that he doesn't have an alibi. How about that? He doesn't have to prove where he was. You have to prove that he's the killer. Well, that's how we're going to do it. Yeah, so as of right now, it doesn't look like there's anything going on at the courthouse. But from what I heard, the jury did show up a little bit earlier than expected, so that could be a good sign. But I do feel like they're going to have a verdict today. Some people say that once they reach a verdict, they're going to give everybody a 2-hour notice before they announce it officially. I don't know if that's true or not. Makes sense, right? Get everything in order. Make sure the place is secured. Resting gull face. Like, what is this shit? This is really weird. So if they say not guilty, does that mean that Gull is in on this? If Richard Allen is set free today, the way I look at it is it was a conspiracy. and yeah, a conspiracy that Gull was in on, McClellan was in on, at least McClellan, right? Maybe it is his goal to get Richard Allen off. Maybe they're all in on it. See, it's like it never ends. Just because an idea will make it a good novel doesn't mean that it's true. We are not gullible. I like that one. I just don't understand what it has to do with Gull. And a big part of this Richard Allen is innocent movement is because they believe the Odinism stuff, right? It wasn't Richard Allen because it was the Odinists. They didn't believe in the Odinism stuff, they wouldn't be pushing for this Richard Allen is innocent. What's up, Todd? Just learned that in his interrogation, Kathy said to Richard Allen, "You didn't tell me you went on the bridge." Yeah, that is a bombshell. And we said that from the beginning, right? That he was probably sitting around with his family when the news came on and they said, "Weren't you there that day?" It's like, "Oh shit, yeah, I was. I better call the tip line." Because the second that there's a chink in his armor, right? And if he's got these personality disorders and he's this psychopath that's been roaming around, he's been hiding it for years. He knows that he can't give one iota, a, a hinkling of him being involved, I'm going to call the tip line right now, right in front of you. And then one day he comes home from work and says, "Hey, they called me back about the tip line, and I met with Dan Doolin over there at the grocery store. Told him everything I knew." So that makes me think that Kathy Allen didn't know that Richard Allen was the bridge guy. But then again, she's got to be wondering what happened to his favorite blue coat. It's a pretty good likeness there. Is that watercolor? It's cool. Dr. Walla. All in black. I'm back in black. Court camp. Wasn't Elvis proven to be half is that an hour away at that time? I think further than that. Plot twist though, what if Rick is an Odinist and that's why he also inserted Odinism in there to use a distraction and put on other Odinists? I don't know. All roads lead to Rick. Yeah, why didn't he tell her he was on the bridge? It's a good question. What's up, War Kittens? Sheba says he couldn't have done it in that timeline. The timeline fits perfectly. What's up, Steve from True Crime Web? I think it would have been powerful to hear Richard Allen testify, explaining every moment of that eventful day and why the state's case is impossible, psychic abilities, why he confessed, etc. Well, then he would have to tell the origin story of the bridge guy. They can't tell that story. That story never even came up. From everything that I've gathered about this trial, Steve, not once did they talk about his movements that day. The public has no clue what Richard Allen did that day. What did he do the day before? To me, that's the biggest thing. Why did we not? I feel like the jury's going to be asking this question. Why did we not hear about what Richard Allen was doing that day? What's up, Levi Fletcher? I still feel like if somebody would have got him talking and all that during the confessions, he has items from the crime scene hidden. I agree with that. I think he has a stash spot. I agree with you on that. I have a feeling there's a lot of little hiking areas around his job. So I don't know. I think there should be a little bit more investigating into that kind of stuff, asking about where he went during his breaks, his lunches, maybe even on his property. Thanks again, TC. Sue, did you send me a Venmo? All right, Sue. Yes, I do see it. Thank you so much. That was very generous of you. I appreciate you. Thank you. Oh, really? That's interesting. I was able to get into the courtroom 3 days, so I've heard testimony. Bottom line, state didn't prove anything. What days were you in there? Yeah, thanks again. I appreciate that, Sue. GP, thank you. Shout out to GP, Mel Rose, Miss Doglover, flexing that membership. Thank you. Missy R, TC, Cindy Lean, GP. You guys rock. What's up, Brad? There is kind of an esoteric date, and this case likes those. Yep. That's why I decided to put that up on the thumbnail. It's like, that's interesting. I'm not very superstitious, but I am a little. How long do people think it would have taken to do this? How was 2 hours not enough time? Yeah, it was more like an hour and a half, like an hour and 45 minutes. There you go, Melissa. Words to live by. Law enforcement sucks except for Mr. Steve and Ruckus. So far, right, Andy? What's up, Julia? I find it hard to believe it was such a bloody, gruesome scene, but they found no DNA in his car, house, or coat, or none of his DNA at the crime scene. Well, remember this, Julia. Less than 10% of crime scenes even have the killer's DNA present. Less than 10%. And it's not that they had some other killer's DNA that didn't match with Richard Allen's DNA. They had no male profile whatsoever. And we know from watching the Bridge Guy video that we're obviously looking at a man who committed an abduction. Where's his DNA? It's not at the crime scene. So we know a man committed the kidnapping, and we know that there's no male DNA profile found at the crime scene. Where's his profile? Do you see where I'm going with this? Big worm. Rick smoked meth. I think so. I think so. I have no evidence to back that up. Don't quote me on that, but I think so. I think it's possible. What's up, Pipers? Tara says, I think you're dead on, Sleuth. And what's sad is Kathy knows this. She knows he's not mentally stable. And here she is sticking up for him, heavy denial. Well, it could be like one of those things like if we just keep you from drinking or if we just keep you from doing certain things, you won't act out. Like there was one, I guess there was an incident where he tried to take his life and it was either go to jail or go to the hospital. And he went to the hospital. So maybe it was something like that. Like he killed the girls. Eventually, Kathy found out and was like, well, as long as you stop drinking and doing the things that make you freak out, you'll be okay. But that's just baseless speculation. What's up, Blind Squirrel? For 7.5 years, Richard Allen's had the time to formulate the perfect murder. For the love of Christ, why did this piece of shit come forward? The bridge garbage is guilty, point blank, period. What's up, Angela? I believe they did treat him badly in prison. So do I. I think they mistreat everybody in prison. Like, our system needs a complete overhaul. But that doesn't mean he's innocent. I think he's bridge guy. I agree. And it's hard because when you go into prison, if you don't have, let's say, like a solitary confinement, what are you going to threaten these prisoners with? You know, they're just going to do whatever they want. What are you going to threaten them with? All you have is solitary confinement. Like, if you keep up this behavior, I'm going to put you in the hole. They get put in the hole and they don't ever do that shit again, right? But if you take that away, which is the only real humane thing to do, because it is inhumane. 100% it is torture. But without that, you're going to have pure chaos. So it's like a catch-22. But will either walk or be a hung jury. Probably 3 of the 12 won't budge off of not guilty. I think it's more like 3 of them are leaning towards guilty, but they're just not 100% sure. That's true, Sheba. Hey, Kitty Womblista, what is up? Richard Allen lied to Kathy Allen about being on the bridge. That is a fact. She said, "You didn't tell me that you were on the bridge," during a confession. That's huge. The 3 girls seeing him going towards the bridge and him saying that he saw them 100%. Knock his second timeline out. Why lie if he is innocent? Not only that, what is his own timeline? What are your version of events? We don't even know that. If he was innocent, that should be the most clear version of events that we have. We should know exactly what Richard Allen was doing that day. Like, do you guys not find that strange at all? That the man that they've accused of being a double murderer of Abby and Libby, one of the most high-profile cases of this century, and we don't know what the accused killer was doing that day. We have no clue. We think he might have been with his mom in Peru, right? That's what he said. Thank you, Pipers. I think today is the day. I think you're right. So I'm watching a few different live streams from boots on the ground YouTubers, and there's really not much going on. So we'll hang out a little bit longer. And if we miss the verdict, that's fine, because we'll jump live the moment that it's announced. And apparently we're going to get a 2-hour heads up notice. So, hey, Lori Clayton says, "Good morning, everyone. Happy Veterans Day. Thank you for serving. Thank you for your service." Once again, shout out to all the veterans and all of you who have lost family members who were veterans. We love you guys. Andy says, "My partner clicked not guilty by mistake, so you can add another one to guilty." So yes, I believe it is better to let 100 guilty men go free than it is to incarcerate one innocent man. But if you take that too far, you won't ever incarcerate anybody, right? If you become radical with that, because we can't all be flies on the wall during these crimes to witness it ourselves. Even then, your own witness testimony is questionable. So there's always going to be doubt. The question is it reasonable? And a lot of these folks out here who are part of this Richard Allen fan club, their doubt is far from reasonable. At least necessary, if not in 2017. Hey, Ricky, good to see you. Oh, I want to say 2015 or 2016. What's up, Sophia Larson? Jace Thomas, what's up? Piper says, to all veterans, thank you for your service. Thanks, Pipers. That was nice. Yeah, it's like he knew. If I'm going to attempt to sexually assault them, I think in his mind he knew that he would have to kill them. The question is why was he feeling that way? What the hell was going on? Something led to his behavior that day. Yeah, that's true, TC. It's kind of like a sexual sadist. And I don't know if that's what we're dealing with here, but it could be. Sounds like we're dealing with a sick individual. Yeah, thank you guys. Christine Robbins. Jill L. Poll Hall video from November 2019. Watch from 150 to 202 ish. Richard Allen in the black tee walking along the pool table in the back corner, both hands. Oh, you mean this? Hold on, give me a second. Something I put together. Perfect match of the gait. Even to where the bridge guy, watch, he flips out his left foot right before he puts it down. He kind of whips it out to the left. Watch what Richard Allen does. Right before he puts his foot down, he tilts his foot out to the left. Like, who does that? The bridge guy does that. James says, I predict if there's a not guilty, there will be a divorce within 2 years. Can you imagine sleeping next to this guy? Also, pressure from the public will interfere in the marriage. Yeah, that's like a worst case scenario right there. Angel B, good morning. Shout out to Ireland. So watch the left foot kind of points out to the left. Oh, we got to hit Ireland. Let's hit them, guys. It's my island.
He wasn't right in the hat.
Real justice. Not your justice, but real justice. Yeah, I agree with that, Jace. Lizette, what's up? Hey, what's up? Defense Diaries in the building. Aren't you supposed to be at the courthouse? Tracy, what's going on? Is if Kathy Shank hadn't found the tip from early in the investigation, we still might not be going through this. Question is, how did she find that tip? I always thought that had Michael Thomas's fingerprints all over it. See, I'm allowed to have my conspiracies too. You know what I mean? Put on the tinfoil hat. So here is where they crossed. I mean, there's nothing intimidating about this creek whatsoever. Richard Allen wouldn't have hesitated. He knows he can't go back across the bridge. We're going this way, guys. Not only that, because I'm afraid of that private drive, I've just been scared away by the van. We need to go away from that area and into these trees. And that's why you don't ever go to a secondary location. What's up, Big Bird? Easy, Missy. We're not all triggered about everything. Oh, you want to hear that? I think I have that audio.
Rick.
Cable snap. There's the wheelchair coming up.
Guys. Downhill. Rick. Guys. Rick. Guys. Rick. Guys. Rick. Guys. Downhill.
Cable snap. There's the wheelchair coming up.
Rick.
Cable snap. There's the wheelchair coming up.
Guys. Downhill. Rick. Guys. Rick. Guys. Rick. Guys. Downhill.
Cable snap. There's the wheelchair coming up.
There's a wheelchair coming up. Jessica says, did you see Aspen said he talked to a girl who worked with Richard Allen at Walmart, and she said he was angry, glared at everyone, wouldn't let the girls open the gun case. Defense, yeah, all trial lawyers. That's exactly what they are. You know, they have to sell this idea or this narrative. You know, so you emphasize all of the positive things for your side, and then you leave out anything that might be harmful. That's what salesmen do. Question is, what product did the jury purchase? What's up, V? Shane, the forgotten man, flannel shirt guy. You mean David McCain? Look, he's wearing the bridge guy hat. What's up, Andy? Says, happy Veterans Day to all those who have served. God bless. Thanks, Andy. Yeah, big shout out to all you veterans and all you who have lost members of your family who were veterans. Big up to the veterans. What's up, Scotland? All right, you're going to make me hit you. Let's hit him.
He wasn't right in the hat.
All my Scottish and Irish folks. What's going on, Tim Perry? Champagne Problems. Good morning. We'll let it slide this time. Bridget Pelosi lying to his wife is sus. Yeah, why didn't you tell me you were out on that bridge? Because I didn't want you to call me the bridge guy. I think he took 2 socks or a sock and a pair of underwear. Kaya says, would white supremacists sacrifice 2 white girls? I think definitely they would. I say yes. And I'm sure they do it all the time. I don't know about sacrificing, but I guarantee they're hurting white women. Yeah, I appreciate that, Sue. That was very generous of you. I'm watching a couple videos from some boots on the ground, and I don't see any real activity. So we'll probably close it down here in about 10 minutes. And we'll just kind of hang out on standby. Faza's Super Babies. What's up, Faza? Yes, apparently somebody by the name of Betsy Blair, Faza. Or not Betsy Blair, sorry. Sarah Carbaugh. Yeah, Missy, he'll never be in general population. What's up, Summer Girl? Brutally murdering 2 girls in broad daylight is way more than acting out. If she knew, she needs to go to jail also. I don't think that she did know. Oops, sorry about that, guys. I clicked the wrong button. I was looking through the wrong thingy. What's going on, Captain Ravioli? I don't know. We don't know anything about Rick. So to say if he's owed it or if he's into CSAM or whatever, we don't know. He's had 7 years to hide any evidence that he thought would be harmful or damning. Or he could have been already careful. Did I ever tell you the story of this girl I worked with out at this office? Her husband would come visit her with her 2 beautiful kids, right? But what he didn't know about her is that she had this whole secret life. She kept a secondary cell phone. So she had 2 cell phones, her normal cell phone and then her cheating cell phone. And it would tear me up every time this guy would show up with 2 baby girls in his arm, kissing his wife. And then when he would leave, she would just be talking about this other guy that she's going to go sneak away with. It was really disgusting. But what that proves to me is that people can have, can live 2 lives without their spouses or significant others even knowing. Oh, thank you for the email, Joanne. So there could be nothing there, or there could be something that we don't see. Don says, what a match. Christine Robbins says that guy in the pool hall is the bridge guy. I agree. All right, let's see who I missed. Phil Bond, good to see you. Sorry, I closed out my window, so I'm going to go back up here and catch all these chats. Ruben Macias. That's pretty spot on, and I don't ever put any stock into people matching up voices because there's usually not enough sample size. Pretty close. Yuck. Joss Vanderstein. Omerica, welcome in. Nana Louise. I hit the not guilty button by accident. Sure you did. By accident, they say. Joss, been watching the case from the earliest days. Richard Allen is guilty as sin. Soda RL. Did you already answer about Michael Peasley? What about him? The FBI agent, Michael Peasley, one of the founders of Grit. Did a couple live streams on Grit. It's like a gang task force. All right, you guys talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to grab some more coffee real quick. Alrighty, I'm back. Right, still don't see any activity. And we should be getting a heads up anyway. So we'll hang out here another 5 minutes or so. Yeah, for sure, V. I don't know, Joss Vanderstein. It depends, because people will confess to things that they did not commit. It's really not that hard to break down the human psyche if you know how to do it. That's why torture is never a useful tool. If you torture somebody, they're going to confess to anything. What's up? None of your business. All right, guys, there's not a whole lot going on, so we're probably going to get out of here. But we will be on standby. If we hear anything, we'll make sure that we go live. But there's just absolutely no activity right now. And I'll keep you guys up to date. So keep a lookout on my channel for a notification. It could be any minute now. I don't know, Sharon. I think if anything, he grew one. What's up, Annabelle? Yeah, kudos to them. Kudos to those boots on the ground, giving us a window into what the hell's going on here. So I'll catch you guys a little bit later. Make sure you enjoy the rest of your day. Once again, shout out to all of you veterans that are out there. Happy Veterans Day. Thank you, GP, Cindy Lean, TC, Miss CR, Miss Doglover, Melrose, GP again, and Pipers. For the members' flexes, the super stickers, and the super chats, thank you guys for all your support. And all of you mods out there keeping the chat chill. Couldn't do it without you. And those of you who continue donating to the Cash App and the Venmo. For instance, Sue, thank you for sending me a Venmo today. That was very generous of you. But honestly, guys, I couldn't do this. I couldn't spend the amount of time I do trying to create this platform for you guys if it wasn't for your help and your support. So thank you. And I have a feeling I'll be seeing you again later on today when this verdict comes out. So keep a lookout for that notification, and I'll see you guys again. I'm thinking maybe in a couple of hours, actually. So if you guys hear anything, shoot me an email in case I'm busy doing something else and I'm not, tracking what's going on with the Delphi case. So maybe not. Maybe I'll see you a little bit later. Take care.